Sorry, just a moment.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, I think we are good to go.
Okay. Okay.
Hello. Hi, guys. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening, good evening, good evening. Okay, guys, you're welcome back to my channel. This is Blessing of Blessed Blessing Channels. Okay, so as you all know, on this channel, I film content on how you can migrate to the UK, like generally in the UK, any good thing that you can think of that has to do with the UK. Those are the information that I share on this channel, just in case you are coming across my channel for the first time. So you are very most welcome. Okay, so I know so many people are going to see this video after now, okay, because while we are still waiting for other people to join us, we just have to, quickly talk what we want to do while we are still waiting, okay. But then, guys, I promised us one thing. I think a couple of days back when I did that video about New Zealand, okay, so I actually got so many people, come to my inbox and they were like, oh, let's say, what do you think about this? How is it going to be? Yeah, like people around me, even people that are here in the UK, my friends and families and all that, and of course my subscribers. So I just thought it twice that I'll have to kind of organize this section, okay, where other people will have to come in to join us. Then I have our special guest here. Yes, we have our special guest by the name Sontum, right? Sontum, please correct me if
Okay.
I'm wrong. Yeah. Okay, so it's actually, like I told you guys, he's actually a specialist. He knows everything about this New Zealand movement. Okay, for a couple of people that wants to move, especially from the UK, that's talking about people that are already here in the UK that want to move from, maybe because of this, all these immigration rules and all that. Okay, so we've had so many people wanting to look for Plan B. Remember about the video that I did about Plan B. Okay, so to me, I feel that this is another opportunity, like talking about, you just have to get that Plan B. Like, okay, what if, like my grandma will always tell me, always make provisions for that what if. Okay, yeah, we don't really pray that, of course, for anybody to have left his or her country, relocating to the UK. I just want to believe that the person had already, it's kind of, the person had already planned that he wanted to settle in the UK. But then during the process of, just living the life, many things can happen, immigration changes, and then the environment, maybe one policy or the other that you don't really find funny. Okay, so you just said, okay, maybe I will just look for a Plan B. So that's the reason why I've brought out this platform. So yeah, like I said, we'll be waiting for some other persons to join me, but I'm going to Sontom. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, yeah. What I'll be doing, I'll just give us like 5 minutes, okay? So we can, let's see if other people can join us, because I don't want us to just be talking, I want us to have kind of, external people that would kind of, give out their own opinions. And then if they have questions, they will just come around. Okay, so while we are waiting for that, I don't know if maybe if you have anything to just to tell us, for people that will come across this video, because I know definitely people are going to watch this video even after now. Okay, so if you have anything to tell us regarding all this movement, yeah, so you can just tell us why we are still waiting. Okay, yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Blessing. It is very, very, very good to. It's an honor for you to actually host me right here, and it's a very big honor for you, for me. I'm saying thank you so much.
Yeah.
So first of all, moving to Australia and New Zealand has to do with the term called skilled migration. That is what we call it. It's called skilled migration. And skilled migration for Australia and New Zealand, in as much as we're going to be talking solely on New Zealand, we have to understand that New Zealand and Australia shares the same type of migration system. It's almost virtually
Of
the
course,
same.
yeah, the countries are even closer to each other. I think
Yeah,
so.
they're closer to each other, and they have what is called the Trans-Tasman Act. It was enacted in 1997. It was
Okay.
to enable socio-economic ties between these two countries, especially for occupations. And for New Zealand, skilled migration also entails ensuring that you are moving at the required skill level. Now, the required skill levels in New Zealand and Australia, Australia has about 5 levels of skill level, while New Zealand has about 4. So these different skill levels determines the type of occupations that you would actually go through with in order to migrate to that country. Because for Australia, you can go as a skilled independent through the skilled independent pathways, through the skilled independent visas. But for New Zealand, all the visas in New Zealand is tied to an employer. You must go through an employer. So
Yeah.
meaning that for you now to go through an employer, you would also be going through immigration requirements. So, in as much as the fact that an employer can actually employ you to come and work in New Zealand, you are expected to meet immigration requirements.
Yeah.
And immigration requirements are very much different from the employer requirements, because some employers would actually, grant you a job visa, but with subject to the fact that you must obtain some requirements, and those requirements are also tantamount to what the immigration requirement would also require you to have. For example, moving to New Zealand now, you have to get your recognition of occupations, or you need to be registered with whatever occupational membership that occupational membership registration that you are ought to have. For example, you cannot just move to New Zealand without having an occupational registration for any occupation you're going for. The only occupation I will tell you that does not have an occupational registration are care workers. You don't need to register with anybody for you to work in care in the care workforce for New Zealand. It is only in
Sorry.
Australia that you.
Okay, so that's to
It,
say that, because I have a couple of my subscribers, they are from UK. Okay, and most
yeah.
of them are migrants, that like people that left their countries coming over to the UK. So you talking about care workers. Are you trying to say that it's a little bit easier for these people, like people that are already here on a skill, probably on the skilled workers visa, or even students that migrated to the UK, that at the end of their section they want to switch, or somehow they have this experience? Okay, so are you trying to say that it's kind of easier for people that have that what do they call it, that care worker
Work
experience here in
experience.
UK?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it's quite more easy for you to move as a care worker from the UK to New Zealand. The reason being that if you were to take Australia for an instance, you are required to get a skill assessment from the Australian Community Workers Association, which is ACWA. That for New Zealand, there is no occupational registration for New Zealand. What you just require for New Zealand is for you to get what is called an international qualification assessment. That is, it is not mandatory, but it is something you should do to consolidate your profile in terms of moving to New Zealand. So all the same, moving to New Zealand as a care worker is very easy for the UK workforce.
Oh,
And in New Zealand, the care workers are known as the care workforce. That is what we call them in New Zealand, the care workforce. So
okay.
it's quite easy. Once you have that UK experience, it's quite easy for you to transition.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good one then. Okay. But do they really, like, is there some requirements, some things that they need to, I think you talked about, there was one qualification that you talked about the other time. I don't know if it's still part of it or they are exempted from that.
Okay. Now, you actually, before you attempt to immigrate to New Zealand as a care worker with your care work experience, it is expected, like I said, you need to be at the required skill level. You can't have 6 months of care work experience from the UK and move to New Zealand. No, you need to be at the required skill level. And the standard skill level classified by the ANSCO code for your care work, like for example, there are different occupations under the care work for. There is nursing support worker, there is disabled and aged carers, there are different types, disabilities officer, there are different ANSCO code. Now, this ANSCO code is called the Australian and New Zealand classification of skilled classification of occupations. So it is required that you need to have 1 year of experience, or you have a certificate at level 2 or level 3. Now, if you have a certificate at level 4, you either have a certificate at level 4 or 3 years of experience. So all in all, you need to have at least 1 year of experience to, it shows that you are at the required skill level for immigration. It shows that you would meet immigration requirements. So regardless, if you don't have up to 1 year of experience, you are expected to have at least a level 2 or level 3. But I would say you should get a level 4 certificate if you already have something like a bachelor's degree. Because also the New Zealand qualifications framework, they have about 10 levels of qualifications in New Zealand, up to 10 levels. So there are different levels to which you can equate your qualification to that of what is expected in the UK. For the UK, the Office of Qualifications, as the Ofqual, they are the body responsible for accrediting qualifications in the UK. So it is an accredited qualification, and also the RQF framework is also responsible for regulating the qualifications you get, which is the adult and social care.
Okay.
From the UK. So
Okay.
it is almost the same with adult and well-being qualification for New Zealand. So regardless, if you don't have 1 year of experience in the UK, you can get that qualification while you wait for your experience. But it's always important, because more experience means more. It means that you have more chances of landing a job. That is just the thing. So more experience is everything you can have.
Okay. Okay. I want to ask you something, if you don't mind, because I think when I was doing my own personal research about this, I got to realize that basically it's going to be through work visa. That's to say that somebody has to apply to get a job first. Okay. So after the person has gotten the job, then the person would now probably, meet the requirements, and of course the company has to be on the green list. Okay, so I don't know if you can just throw more light on this, like in terms of, how are they going to get the job, the sites, or how would they, how would they get these jobs? My subscribers or people that are listening to us now, if they want to, okay, they are not interested, they have made up their mind that they want to move to New Zealand, okay, how are they going to get this job? That's number one. Then secondly, after getting this job, is it, because I think when I was also doing my research, I always refer to that. I got to realize that there are kind of, I think, three different or two major pathways. Okay, one leads to permanent residency, even as you're coming in. So, and I believe that anybody that wants to leave the UK to New Zealand is not because the person is not getting jobs or the person needed to. Yeah, it could be because of that, but let's say 70% of these people would want to, leave the UK because of this permanent residency. Because here in the UK, you have to spend like 5 years, minimum, at least 5 years on a job visa. That's on a skilled workers visa before you can finally settle. So I don't know if you can throw more light on this, please.
Okay, yes. About the visa pathways to New Zealand, there are three different permanent residency visas in New Zealand. Now, the first permanent residency visa is a straight to residence, and then the work to residence permanent residency visa. And then you also have the skilled migrant category. Now, these three visas have different occupations that are tied to them. Now, an accredited employer work visa is a temporary work visa, like the tier 2 work visa in the UK. It is always tied to your employer, and the employer sponsors you,
For
and you would
COS.
come to, yes, through the COS thing, and you come to work in that occupation. Now, for New Zealand, after working on the accredited employer work visa, the very first point of entry to New Zealand is always through the accredited employer work visa. So every employer that would actually grant a skilled migrant a visa to come and work in New Zealand has to be an accredited employer, meaning that you're going to be applying to accredited employers. Now, there is a list of accredited employers in the Immigration New Zealand website. So those accredited employers now, after applying to them and you secure an employment contract, that your job contract, it is what you're not going to use and apply for the accredited employer work visa. Now, how it works, let me use the care workforce for an example. Now, if you're employed through the care workforce, before there was a care workforce visa, but all those visas, the accredited employer work visa has cancelled all of them. You now have only one accredited employer work visa. The essential skills visa and all of them have been cancelled. Only the accredited employer work visa is what you would actually use to gain entry. Now, for a carer or a care workforce coming from the UK, what you need to do now is you would enter the country through the accredited employer work visa, and then after 2 years, there is a special permanent residency visa for people in the care workforce, and it is called the care workforce to residency visa. The care workforce work to residency visa. Yes, it is a permanent residency visa only for the care workforce, just for the care workforce alone.
Okay, that's to say that if someone leaves the UK, like an experienced person that meets the criteria, just like you said, okay, leaves the UK, finally gets a job in New Zealand, okay, and the company is among, or the name of the company is on that green list, if I understand it perfectly, okay, then once the person is able to come over to New Zealand and work for at least 2 years, then the person would be able to get this permanent residence, isn't it?
Yes, exactly. Now,
That's
about
fair.
that green list, the care workforce is not on the green list. The care workforce is a different category on its own. They are a standalone occupation.
Okay, that's to say that if you're able to just get a company, any company at all in New Zealand.
Yes, an accredited employer.
Okay.
Once you get an accredited employer, and it is very important that you are the required skill level. Now, once you are the required skill level and you get an employer grants you an employment contract, you would be entering New Zealand via the accredited employer work visa. Then after 2 years, you are eligible to actually apply for the care workforce work to residence visa. Now, if you have an occupation, like let's say you're not in the care workforce, or you just have another occupation you might want to use to gain entry, and that occupation is on the long-term skill shortage list for New Zealand, what you need to do is to identify whether that occupation is under the tier 1 category or the tier 2 category. So if it is on the tier 1 category, you are eligible for the straight to work residency. Yes, straight. Now, if it is on the tier 2, it is on the work to both of them are permanent residency visas. And one thing about permanent residency is permanent residency grants you the right to live, stay, and work indefinitely.
And then just like after leave to remain,
yes, then after 5 years, you will stay 5 years on a permanent residency visa and then transition to citizenship. Wow. It is quite that fast. Yeah. So that is how it works.
Okay, so what's the third one? Because you made mention of 3 ways. You said you've talked about the work to residency visa. You've talked about the straight up to residency visa. So what's the third one, please?
Yeah, the third one is a skilled migrant category. It is a points tested permanent residency visa. It is points tested. You need to have a total of 6 points. Now, the truth about that skilled migrant category is that you need to have an occupation in tier 1 or tier 2 to actually nominate or check your skill level and know the amount of points you get. So for you to actually apply for the skilled migrant category, you must have also worked at least up to 1 year in New Zealand. You
Oh,
must be in New Zealand. You work up to 1 year, ramp up your points, apply for the skilled migrant category, and you get it. Once you get it, you're already on your permanent residency on the first year. On the first year. So
oh,
that is
oh,
for the skilled migrant category. But for the care workforce, they made sure to give them their own pathway right from the temporal work visa up until the permanent residency. They have their own special pathway for care workforce. Then every other occupation is going to come into New Zealand via the other two permanent residency visa pathways, which is the work to residency visa and what is it called again? Sorry, the straight to
great.
residency
Yeah,
visa. Yeah,
yeah.
straight to residency and work to residency. Sorry, it
Okay.
can be very confusing because of all the words are jumbled together.
Yeah, yeah, it's okay. It's really quite very, it's clear now. Okay, so another thing that I want to ask, like the requirements for them to, okay, let's say if somebody has gotten this job now, okay, what are the basic requirements that the person can, can maybe the requirements to apply for this visa? Yeah.
Okay, the requirements to apply for the visa is just the same all over the world. You must have your health. The health requirements are there. Identity requirements are there. Good character requirements are there. And it does not have one. Funny enough, the accredited employer work visa does not have a language requirement. It does not have.
I was coming to that. I
It
was
does not
coming
have a
to that.
language
Yeah,
requirement.
I was actually coming to that because
It
I
does not have.
yeah, I wanted to ask you if they are if it's compulsory for them to write that IELTS exam, okay? Because that's another thing. It's not
You're
on.
not required to prove your language proficiency when you're coming on a temporary visa to New Zealand. It is only when you want to apply for a citizenship or a permanent residency visa. That is when you now start needing the language requirement. For example, the care workforce, you don't require any language requirements to get into Australia. Every other occupation, you don't require the language requirement unless your occupation has what is called occupational and registrational requirements, whereby the registration body for your occupation in New Zealand requires that you have an English requirement. That is all. So if you meet the registration body's English requirement, it means that your IELTS is still going to be valid through to when you're going to apply for your permanent residency visa. So all the same, it's a win-win.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Okay, then sorry, I just want to because I know they are not online now, but I know definitely they will come in and they want to ask you these questions that I'm asking. Okay, so I wanted to ask also, is there something like maybe is that like how is this sure or how are they going to know when these companies are recruiting? Because just like in the UK, I'm speaking for them, for my subscribers, because I know definitely that's how it's been, because anybody they already know that these companies that this is the list. I think there was a time I posted it. Guys, if you're just coming across this video, please do well to share it to people that you think may benefit from it. Okay. And also, I think I will advise you also, if you're interested in this New Zealand movement, to watch that previous video that I did. Okay. Because I think on that description post, I dropped the link for you guys to be able to get, the accredited companies, yeah, and also the roles that are on the green list also. So I think the challenge is always how to know when these companies are recruiting. Okay, because it's one thing you're smiling. Yes, so I'll ask. Because it's one thing for them to know that, yeah, they have like thousands of companies there. Okay, and then how are they going to know the right time for them to apply for or to even visit the website and for them to be able to secure a job? Because with everything, the way you have explained everything, I can only understand that before you are able to, just like the UK, before you are able to get to that part or to that point where you need to apply for visa, of course you must have secured a job, isn't it? Okay.
Yes,
So
exactly.
now how are they going to know that these companies are recruiting and all that? I don't know if you have
Okay.
anything to say regarding that.
Okay, no problem. To have very high chances of landing a job with an employer in New Zealand, the very first thing you need to know is that Immigration New Zealand has a section where you can check the list of accredited employers. the list of accredited employers is the gold mine. It's just like the list of licensed employers in the UK.
In the UK, yeah.
So the beautiful thing about this list of accredited employers is they all have an expiry date. They all have an expiry date where when their accredited status would expire. So what you should be looking out for is all those employers that renewed their accredited status this year. Those are the employers you should look out for.
Okay.
So once you visit the website, you check when the employer just renewed his or his own accredited status, and then you would know for sure that this employer is ready to recruit overseas workers for the financial year. So that is how to check it. So don't go for employers that their accredited status would expire in 2024. Go for employers that the accredited status will expire 2026 upwards to 2027.
Okay, I understand.
You would stand a better chance. It's just a tip. You will stand a better chance. That is just the thing. Because for those employers that their status would expire this year, you don't know whether they would be looking at hiring workers again. Because one thing about hiring workers is after hiring them, it is always important to also make sure that they have a pathway to permanent residency first before you recruit more overseas workers on temporary visas. That is how to do it. You clear the old backlog, and then before you start recruiting again. That is the whole process. So they need to make sure that every other employer working with them has gotten at least permanent residency before they will start taking in new employers. But the main thing is just to look out for those employers that have renewed their status for the year, and those that their expiry status is is in the future.
Okay. Oh, thank you so much for telling us that. Okay. So yeah, I think the next section is kind of you coming in now. Okay. Because I think it was actually someone that recommended you, or that brought us together because of some things that you've done. You assisted them in one way or the other. Okay. Please, for my people that are like my subscribers that are interested, that wants to really do this, I tell you this because I got, like I told you, I got so many of them. They came to my inbox asking, please, Blessing, how can you assist us with this? Okay. So now I am putting it to you, soon. Please, what is your own rules? Like, what are you going to, kind of bring in? How are you going to assist them? If there is anything like that, yeah.
Okay. Especially for the care workforce, I would like to say this: we actually have a product. But before I come to that, I didn't. Sorry, I didn't introduce. Okay.
Reduce that. Reduce it, or you put it off and go upstairs now. No, you reduce it. Sorry, he's my son. Sweetheart, you have to put it off. Put it off. Take your iPad upstairs. Put it off. Good boy. Oh yeah, go upstairs and watch your iPad. Sweetheart, go upstairs and watch your iPad, okay? Sorry.
It's okay. Okay. No problem. Like I said, I didn't even initially introduce myself properly at the first instance. So I am the migration assistant for Pamoja Consult. We are an e-consultancy that helps Africans move abroad, specifically to these two countries, Australia and New Zealand. But times are changing and policies are changing very quickly. And New Zealand is the new hotspot for the care workforce for UK. Now, how it works is, regardless of New Zealand being the next hotspot and Australia being a seamless option, you need to understand, if you have questions, if you have personal ambiguity, if you require...
Sweetheart, sorry. Go upstairs now. I have to send him upstairs. If not, he will keep disturbing me. Okay. Go upstairs now. Go and meet your auntie upstairs. Sweetheart. High five. You want to give mommy a kiss? High five. Good boy. Yeah. Run along. See you. Bye-bye. Okay.
Yeah. So, like I was saying, I don't know if it's the right time to say this, but it's about the product. Can I continue?
Yeah, please continue.
Okay, so we have an e-guide. We developed an e-guide because one thing I would always say, which I told you from the beginning, is that Europe is easy, UK is straightforward, Canada is quite straightforward, Australia and New Zealand, they are the price. It's very, very confusing. It can be ambiguous for so many people. So to ease this pathway and to make it more understandable and more realistic, we have an e-guide that has been developed and written for the UK audience, especially for care workers in the UK that are looking to have an alternative destination. And if that destination is New Zealand on your list, you're very lucky to watch this video today because we have a product. It is called UK to New Zealand, the Care Worker Guide. It is going to explain to you all the processes of meeting immigration requirements and occupational requirements for moving to New Zealand so that you have the highest level of correctness in terms of making your move. Not only that, you're going to have about 6 months of free question and answers, and you're going to have one-on-one consultation with me in case you have any personal question you would like to ask too. So that is it.
Wow. Okay. So okay, is that what all the thing that you have to say about the e-guide stuff?
Sorry.
Okay, I was asking, is that all you have to say about the e-guide that you talked about, like the guidance that you give to them? You said, according to what you said, if I understand you perfectly, you said it's an like electronic guidelines for them to
Yes.
you have to put them through. Okay, so I don't know. Is it that they need to purchase it, they need to buy it, or they need to, how are they going to get this guide that you're talking about?
Okay. The guide is for sale, and actually, I am being hosted by Blessed Blessing. And if you want to go and if you want to get this guide, the guide is a read online guide on Seller, where you'd actually get to understand what is your requirement personally. So what you need to do is to get this guide. Mrs. Blessing is going to be providing the link. You actually have a coupon code. You get £15 off the original cost. And this is just the best way of making this accessible. Immigration, it's not rocket science. All you just need is understanding. And that is what this guide is going to give to you.
Okay, thank you so much. So let me just re-emphasize on that. Guys, what Somtom is trying to say is that they have an e-guide, okay? It's like electronic book, ebook, okay, where they will put you through. Like once you have this guide, you'll be able to know what to do at the right time, okay? So it's going to guide you from the beginning of the how to go about the application, but I don't think he will be doing the application for you, okay? Just for clarity's sake, okay? He's not going to go through that application process with you, but then according to him, the e-guide is just like electronic products that you have to purchase, okay? You go through it, you know what to do at what stage, okay? And then the company, I think you are going to put them through for a couple of months, right?
Yeah, for 6 months. 6 months. Questions and answers.
Okay, yeah, okay. So if you have any question, you have any, if there's anything along the line, it's just like an agent. Guys, let me just bring it down so that you guys will understand what this whole thing is. Yes, we already know that there is pathway for you to relocate from UK to, to New Zealand. I'm coming to people outside the UK. I'll come to that, okay? But then let's just focus on UK people, okay? There is already a pathway to move you from UK to New Zealand. So you could as well go online, do this research yourself and then see how it goes, okay? But he is coming in to play that agency role. I don't know if you understand. The only difference here is that agencies, they will tell you to, that you have to pay them this, you have to pay them that. Because when I actually approached him, I got to realize the kind of person. That's what attracted me to him, or attracted him to you. Is that the correct thing? Okay. So yeah. So when I went through the guide, he actually sent me a copy of the guide. When I went through the electronic guide, I got to realize that it's something that will put you through. Yes, you can, like I said, you can as well go online, do this research yourself. But the things that I already have there, is kind of a guy that will tell you, okay, this is what you are supposed to do. What if this goes wrong? You have to do this. I don't know if you understand.
Exactly.
That is the reason why you have to get that. No, I need to explain to them so that they will understand, because anybody would have just gone online and then do this research, okay? But why I am kind of recommending this guy is because normal agents, in the normal agent that we know, most of us from Nigeria, the agents that we know, they will tell you to, that you have to bring money. Guys, remember what I always tell you. I always tell my people that, yeah, if you have money to give any agency, like any agent person to process your visas and all that, is a personal decision. I can't actually influence, I can't influence your decision on that. But then I will always advise you to be very careful, yeah, and make sure that you know that person to some extent. It's normal, you understand? Because we know where we are coming from, especially we from Africans, yeah, so you can actually fall into wrong hands, okay? But the only thing that I'm seeing here that is that made me to recommend him is because he's not telling you to pay certain amount of money. You understand? Agencies, they will tell you to bring this huge amount of money, or maybe at the end of the day, when your visa comes out, that this is the amount that you will agree on a certain amount to pay. You understand? So, but in this case, with what I understand, I stand to be corrected, though he's here with us, okay? With what I understand, hi guys, you're welcome, guys. I can see 2 people already here. So, yeah, for those of you that are just joining us, we are actually talking about this New Zealand movement, okay? And I actually have a guest here, Sumtom, okay? So he came to introduce us to this package, like different packages. I think he brought about 3 of them that can move you from UK. We are talking about the UK. That's people that are already here in the UK. Because of all this. Hi, Regina, you're welcome. Okay. You said, I am just joining. I hope. Nothing, not at all. You're actually on point. You did not miss out anything, though you are a little bit late, Regina. But yeah, that's exactly what we are talking about. So if you have any question for him, you can just put them down. He can see the stream also. Yeah, so like I said earlier, I invited him here because after I made that video where I talked about New Zealand, I got so many people that came to me and they were like, oh, bless you have to tell us this. Okay. So, but issue that I have is because, I always basically talk about UK. If you ask anything about the UK immigration, to some extent, I should be able to explain. Okay, but because this is another pathway, and this is something that is happening now, according to him, okay, it's something that they just introduced and people are keying it. Like, people are keying into it, okay? So that's why I said, okay, let me just bring him in so he can just explain better, for us. And he has gone to the extra miles of trying to explain to us. He brought about 3 major pathways for you to migrate from the UK. He talked about the UK, the UK workforce, that's the care workforce, that's people, let me just bring it down. People that are already here, that if you have been doing care job in the UK, there is opportunity for you to move from the UK to New Zealand. Okay, so, and according to him, with what he has explained earlier, I don't want to tell him to start all over again because of the sake of for the sake of people that are just joining. Okay, he has been able to explain to us that people that are already here in the UK, that they need like minimum of 1 year experience in care. You understand what I'm talking about? Okay, so if you already have that at least 1 year experience, okay, working in care sector here in the UK, then you should be qualified for that. So all you have to do, according to the way I understand everything, okay, I stand to be corrected. So no, he's here with us. So all you have to do is just for you to kind of, get these companies, apply for a job. You have to get a job, okay? And if you're able to get a job that is like tier 1 or tier 2, the tier 1 is supposed to get you, like, land you instant residency. My people, immediately I heard this, I said, no, I have to let my people know, because I know that this is something like people, well, of course, anybody that's moved from, maybe that relocated to the UK as migrants, all we want is to kind of settle one day. Okay, yeah, UK is actually a good place for you to settle, but you find out that you have to stay like a couple of years. You have to stay at least 5 years before you'll be given that, that indefinite leave to remain. Okay, but now in the case of New Zealand, you can actually move in if you're able to secure this job. Okay, you can actually get tier 1 visa, which will land you instant residency. That's to say that as you are moving in. Yes, Regina, sorry, I'm trying to take that. I think I have a message from Regina. She's asking, she said, can Mr. Sontom help me to migrate to New Zealand? Or is it only strictly for those in the UK? I was coming to that. Okay, so yeah, Regina, we are actually talking about, we are getting to that part, okay? But the ones that we are talking about, because we are just starting the section, okay? The ones that we are talking about is for people in the UK. We are coming to people outside the UK, okay? Yeah, so that is just it. If you're able to secure this job, you will land yourself instant residency, permanent residency. As you are moving in, they are giving you this residency, the one that you stay and wait for 5 years. You collect it as you are coming in. So, and he talked about work to residency. Okay, the one that you have to work in the New Zealand for 2 years before you are able to get it. Okay, so yeah, that is exactly what he has said so far. So he now said that if you want him to guide you, that he has a company. You can see that logo behind him. That's the company. Okay, that's the name of the company. I don't know if you can help us with the name of the company again, please.
Pamuja Consult. Pamuja
Okay.
Consult.
Okay. So according to him now, they have e-guide that will put you through, that you have to purchase. You have to buy this e-guide. It's not free. You understand? It's for you to buy it. Then this e-guide will put you through. And if you're able to get this e-guide, it puts you into kind of mutual contracts with the company. That's to say that the company will now see you through for the next 6 months, meaning that the company will put you through, they will guide you. You understand? So if within, in the process of applying, you have any question, you have anything at all, you have to consult them. You understand? And you don't need to pay because you're already on that mutual contract. Like I said, it's not like normal agency. Agencies, they will tell you to bring in money, that you will pay money. Okay, come and pay this certain amount of money that will prepare the visa and the visa will come out. It's not like that, please. Do not misunderstand this. In this case, you are getting just the e-guide, and then once you have the e-guide, you are good to go for the next 6 months. So, Sontom, I don't know if you can answer Regina. Yeah.
Okay. What is the question again? Yes.
Okay. She is asking, she said, can Mr. Sontom help me to migrate to New Zealand, or is it only for people in the UK?
Okay, what is her location? Where is she? If you can say her location, it will help.
Okay, Regina, you can hear that. Please just type in your location. But I still want to ask, for the sake of people that will want this video later, for people outside the UK, do we have any package for them?
Okay, yes. So the main thing is New Zealand has what is called the long-term skill shortage list. The long-term skill shortage list. So that is to say that in the long term, these occupations will be in demand. So the long-term skill shortage list has a list of occupations. If your occupation falls under one of those occupations, it would be essential for you to know if you meet the requirement. Like I said, you must meet immigration requirements and you must meet occupational registration requirements. So if your occupation determines that you would need to register, which virtually almost all occupations that are skilled occupations, you must meet the registration requirement, and then you must also ultimately, once you meet registration requirements, it means you have a provisional registration with that body, or kind of like, in Australia, it is called the Skill Assessment Authority. Now, for New Zealand, you call them registration bodies, whereby you get registration with them. Like, for example, if you want to move as a teacher, you're an early childhood educator, you want to move as a teacher to New Zealand, you're expected to be registered with the New Zealand Teaching Council, also known as Hapori Matatu. That is what you need to do. If you're a nurse, you need to be registered with CGFNS. So all those things, all those registrations are meeting immigration requirements. So what it means is, once you are registered with that organization, start looking for jobs. And then also you have to obtain your international qualification assessment for you to be registered with such organizations. You will start looking for jobs.
Okay. Sorry, I want to take you back a little bit. Like someone that is already in Nigeria, because Regina is in Nigeria. Okay. Someone that is in Nigeria, how will this person be able to register with this association in Australia? Do you have an idea?
Sorry, New Zealand.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so what you need to do is to visit the Immigration New Zealand website, or visit what is called Area Classifications of Occupation. Area is ARIA. Now, ARIA has a list of what is called the ANSCO codes. ANSCO codes are Australia and New Zealand skilled classification of occupations. Now, those ANSCO codes are used to denote the different occupations there are in New Zealand. For example, if you're in the health and social service industry, like if you're under the health and allied health, you automatically your occupation might be a physiotherapist, you might be a nurse, you might be a pediatrist, you might be a sonographer, a radiographer. You just need to check your occupation. Then after checking your occupation, you would also ultimately see the registration body for your occupation. If you are not registered with that registration body, you cannot get a job. It's impossible. Your employer requires you self to be registered with that body before they grant you a job. And early childhood education, early childhood educator or teacher has to be registered with the New Zealand Teaching Council, the Hapori Matatu New Zealand Teaching Council, for them to be able to get a job or land a job with an employer. If you go to job ads, once you go through, if you want to know how or why you should actually meet those requirements, go to seek.com.nz and then look for your occupation. Look for like your occupational title, search for it. Once you search for it, under that job ad, you would see where they would clearly tell you that one of the requirements that you should have so occupational registration. So if you don't have that occupational registration and you just put in your CV there, you've just wasted your time. So the process of immigration to New Zealand based on landing a job, it's a process.
Sorry, just a minute. Just a minute, please. Just give me like 2 minutes. I need to put off this TV that my son put on, please. I'm coming.
Okay, no problem. It's okay.
Right. Thank you.
Okay, okay.
Okay, yeah.
Yes. So you need to get an occupational. These are your tools. These are your swords of truth. These are something you should have, something you would stand on to have a fighting chance, because you're in competition with so many foreign nationals, especially the Chinese. I would have to say that, because they have special country-specific visas. For them, there is no African-specific working holiday or skilled migrant visa for any African country. That is just the thing. Over 45 countries and no African country is there. You have the UK working holiday visa. You have the Sweden, Estonia, even Malta has a working holiday visa for New Zealand. But so what you need to do is you need to stand a fighting chance. So to stand a fighting chance, you must get the registration with the body responsible. For example, if you're an accountant in Nigeria, it's expected you would be registered with ICANN, the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria. It's expected that you be registered after studying. So
hi guys, you're welcome. Please stay with us.
So
if you have any questions,
for New Zealand, you must be registered with the body responsible for giving registration to all those skilled professionals under that occupation for you to land the job. Especially it's quite very easy for ICT, the nursing, the health and allied health professions, aged carers, which is the care workforce, and different other skilled occupations that are available on that list.
Okay. So, okay. I want to ask, thank you so much. I think you have been able to break it down to some point. But like with this package, is it something, because I'll still come down to the package, okay? Getting all this registration done and all that, is it something that you will still have to kind of guide them through, put them through? Yeah, I know you are not going to help them to apply for the visa and all that, okay? But is it possible for you to, is there something that is included in that package where you have to kind of look out for these companies or this association that they have to register with before they are able to secure this job, especially for people outside the UK?
Yes, yes, yes. So the thing is, one thing about moving to a new country is resources. What people lack is resources. They don't have resources. They don't have the ability to understand and interpret most of these legislative instruments. So it's very important that you understand that. That is why Pamoja Consult is here. Pamoja Consult is here to help guide you to understand, to know where you are going to put your right foot, to know where you ought to make the right moves in order for you to get the best possible result for your case. That is just it. So
Okay,
a
sorry, I
consultation.
think someone is asking something here. I will just read it out. He said, please,
Okay.
as a carer, which registration can I do to be able to migrate to the New Zealand? As a carer, which registration can I do to be able to migrate to New Zealand?
Carers do
Carer,
not require.
you talked about different occupations. So he's not asking. I think this person is still Regina that is asking though. So Regina is not a carer based in Nigeria. So he's asking which registration association does she need to be registered with before she's able to migrate?
The care workforce is the only workforce in New Zealand, one of the only workforce in New Zealand that does not have a registration body. All you just need to have is 1 year of experience. That is all. Once you have 1 year of experience and also get what is called an international qualification assessment. Okay, if you're a carer, you need to get the guide. The guide will explain everything to you. It's going to be more self-explanatory for your case. It's all included in that guide. You
Okay,
would understand why. You would understand the requirement. You don't need a registration. You don't need to be registered with anybody. If it were to be in Australia, you'd be registered with the Australian Community Workers Association, which is ACWA. You also need 1 year of experience to get ACWA skill assessment. But we know how hard it is to get a job in Australia, considering the fact that many of those employers don't even have an industry level labor agreement, and the few of them that have it, it's very, very saturated and very competitive. So New Zealand is quite an easier option at this time, especially if you have UK experience. But regardless, ensure that you actually have 1 year of experience. It's very important, not just for you to get the visa, but for you to land the job. Because you can always easily get a visa with just a qualification. Like I said, the level 4 or level 2 or level 3 diploma from your country in adult and social care. You understand? You can always easily get a qualification, but you cannot easily get experience. So experience would easily land you a job with an employer, but a qualification will get you through immigration.
That answers your question. Regina, can you hear me? If you can hear me, just say yes. Okay. He said, okay, I have up to 1 year. Regina is not saying. He said, okay, I have up to 1 year experience. Okay. Then how can I get started with the process?
She needs to get the guide. She just needs to get the guide.
Okay. Please, for this guide, how are they going to get it? Please, can you just, I know you have discussed it with me, but I'm just assuming that they don't really know. Okay. So if you can still tell them how to get it, the cost of getting it, maybe there is a link for them to click through, Okay. But guys, anything that is on this, I can assure you, anything that is here is okay. That is one thing that I can tell you. Once it's coming from my channel, it's okay. So over to you, Sunsun.
So what you need to understand is the guide costs about £45, but for the fact that we are using this platform, Blessed Blessing has a special coupon code that gives you £15 off the original cost. It gives you £15 off the original cost. That means you're going to be purchasing it for just £30, and you get everything you need. Everything you need all in one place. You don't need to run around. Everything is in the guide. You don't need to run around. So that is just it. The link is going to be shared, and the coupon code will be shared in the description after the video. You can easily access it. And then after getting the guide, you would have a one-on-one consultation with me, because I know there might be other personal questions you might want to ask. And after talking with me, I will also be supporting you for the next 6 months.
Wow. Guys, this is amazing. Immediately I heard it. That's why if you have been following me for a while, you discover that I don't just come out here to bring people to talk to us, because I don't want anything that will come at the end of the day. The person will say, oh, it's true, blessed blessing that I did this. Okay. But then immediately I got to know him, I had to go through he actually sent me a copy of the guide, which I've already gone through. Okay. So I got to realize that it's something that is very encouraging. Okay. And it's something that we encourage you people to get. Okay. So if you are getting this guide, ordinarily it's supposed to be £45. Yeah. But because you are using my channel, yeah, of course you use my promo code and you'll get £15 discount. So that's to say that you are going to get it at £30. And if you are getting it at £30, it's going to serve you for 6 months, guys. Outside the things that are already, it's a written document, okay? So outside all those information that are there, you can still consult him. You can request for a personal tutor, like as you're having this section now, you can have personal section with him. Okay. And if you have any question along the line, and I am still asking him now, something. On that aspect of that registration, okay, for those of them that must need to go through this registration process, especially those of them from Africa, Ghana, Nigeria, even Asia, because I still have some people watching from Asia, from Pakistan and all that. Okay. So is there like a little support that you can give to them in terms of registration, getting them registered? That's people that are not under care now. Because I know they will watch this video someday, yeah.
Okay. Okay. For all other occupations that are on the skill occupation list, what you need to understand is once you book a consultation with me, my doors are open, my communication lines are open. You can just hop into my DM any time of the day and ask your questions, drop your questions, and I will answer you very, very well. I'll give you every information you'd require. So that is one thing about it. All you just need to do is just to book a consultation with me, and everything will be explained to you thoroughly, step by step. The requirements will be interpreted. Anywhere you have confusion, I will provide a solution to any ambiguity you might have. That is just the thing.
Oh, that's actually a good one. That's a nice one. Thank you very much. So guys, I am seeing that some other persons are joining. Please, if you are coming across my video for the first time, you already know what we talk about here. On this channel, we basically talk about how to migrate to the UK, life generally in the UK. But on today's section, I have someone special here because some people have been looking for how to abroad, yeah. So, but because UK has always been the target, but because of all these immigration rules coming up and all that, okay, some persons may consider going to other countries. The reason why I've brought him out today to explain to us how to migrate to New Zealand, okay. And if you have been following us since like for the past going to 1 hour now, he has gone through the process of what you have to do, the types of visas that will land you a job, and how you will get permanent residency even as you are coming in. Okay, he has already gone through all that process, okay, with us. But then for the sake of people that are just joining us, I will give us because I actually scheduled for just 1 hour. Okay, so I will give us like a couple of minutes now if you still have anything, because outside now, once this section is off, yeah, if you drop any question on the comment section, maybe depending on when you came across the video, I will try to answer you. But do not forget that one thing about Blessed Blessing actually talks about things basically in the UK, okay? But if you need to know more about this New Zealand, the more reason why you have to get that guard. Okay? So if you're able to get that guard, he'll be able to put you through for the next 6 months. And then if you have any question along the line, you ask. And the cost of it is £30. Okay? Please, someone is asking, please, do one need IELTS? No. I actually asked him that question. I asked him. So they are asking if they need IELTS. So tell them, please let me answer the question. Someone is asking, do they need IELTS to migrate to New Zealand?
Okay, you do not need IELTS to get an accredited employer work visa. The only place you need IELTS is when you now want to apply for your permanent residency. You understand? That is only when you need your IELTS. But for you to, gain temporal entry on the temporal work visa to work in New Zealand, you don't need IELTS. You don't need IELTS.
Okay, but what about, because you talked about, I want it to be a little bit clear, because you talked about people that are coming in on tier 1. as they are coming in, they are getting the permanent residency. So those people in that category, do they need IELTS?
Okay, people that are coming in through tier one, one thing about these occupations is once you've landed, let's say now you've landed a job in New Zealand, the employer has granted you an employment contract or employment offer. Now, what you now need now is to apply for the work visa. Now, if you're in tier one, you're eligible for straight to residence work visa, which is a permanent residency visa. So what you now need to do is that even if you require an IELTS, most of the time, a majority of the time, depending on your occupation, in the process of getting occupational registration, they will test your English ability. There will be English requirement. But one thing about New Zealand is New Zealand has a lower English requirement. For example, early childhood teachers getting registration in New Zealand only need a band 7. You only need a band 7.
Sorry, you only need say that again, please.
Early childhood teachers or educators, childhood, you only need a band 7.
Band 7, okay.
Yes, you need a band 7. Now, for the same occupation for Australia, you need a band 8 for speaking and listening, and then 7 for reading and writing. It's superior English. Now that is the level of English for a native English speaker from born in the UK, which is very hard for many people to get. You understand? So it's a little bit more flexible, and people use New Zealand as a route to Australia. If you're a fan of the UK vibe, which you might not even get in New Zealand, which is the truth, and you want to move to Australia where there are more, concentration of Africans there, and the community vibe is very, very high. There's something obtainable in the UK. You can always easily transition to Australia if you need that, if you want that, because occupations. Once you're working in an occupation and have gained residency in New Zealand, you can automatically move to Australia and work in any occupation, in the same occupation, and in any territory at all. It gives you that statutory right.
Okay. Yeah. I think you have done well already. You have done justice to all the questions. But then I just for the sake of people that are just coming in, guys. Yeah. I actually scheduled this section for maximum 1 hour, and time is no longer beside me because it's no longer on my side because I have to attend to those kids. You can hear the background, they are crying. So but then before I round up, I want to quickly give us like 5 minutes. Yeah. So if you're just joining us now and you have any questions to ask Somtum regarding this New Zealand movement, please, you can just drop it down. Even if you are not, maybe you just see this video like not immediately later, you can as well drop it down. But the only thing is this: if you are dropping it down, I will be answering the question based on how I understand everything. Because like I told you guys, this is what he does. He has a company. This is exactly what he do. So he will be in the best position to answer some of these questions. The more reason why you actually need that guide. And for that guide, I think I'll be leaving the link. Yeah. If you want to purchase it, like I told you before, it's £30. It's supposed to be £45, but because I'm actually streaming here, so because of that, we are having like £15 discount for you guys. So I'll be leaving the link to that on the description box of this video. So you can just go there, click on it, and then get the guide yourself. So for the next 2-3 minutes, I want to see if we have anyone that has any question whatsoever for Somtum. So Somtum, I don't know why we are waiting for that. I don't know if you have anything to tell us, like kind of closing section or maybe closing remark. Yeah.
Okay. I want to thank Blessed Blessing Channel for this opportunity. It's quite a very big honor. It's something very big for Pamuja Consult at this time. One thing about migration is migration never stops. Policies continues to change, and everyone is looking for an alternative destination. Everyone wants the better life. And one thing about migration is that you need to always have access to the right information. And this is where you need to get that right information. That is what Pamuja Consult stands for. And I'm thanking Blessed Blessings Channel for this opportunity.
You're very most You're welcome.
I'm so grateful. I'm so
You're welcome.
grateful for this opportunity. That is all I can say. So if you still need question and answers to your questions and queries, because one thing is that so many people have so many personal questions they might want to ask, but they want to ask it here. Maybe they have personal visas, something personal that has related to your migration history in the past. You might not want to mention it online. It is
Yeah.
something you can always come in private and ask, and I will give you question and answers to that and best options to that. That's just the thing about it. So, and I also want to say, please stop applying to unskilled jobs in Australia and New Zealand. You will never get them. Don't apply to farming jobs, picking, harvesting, maintaining, and planting. You can never get those jobs. For you to move to Australia, you must have a skill. It has to be at the required skill level. You must have experience. People that have access to those jobs, it is country specific to some nationals. I've seen so many people posting about going to work in Australia and New Zealand and the farm and all of that. You will not
Yeah.
get those jobs. So I just want to make that out as a disclaimer for people that want to actually move. If you're serious about migration,
I'm coming.
have a skill.
I'm seeing your questions. I'll take them.
Okay, if you want to move to a country, if you want to move to a new country, you must be intentional about having a skill. You must be intentional about having an occupation that you want to actually work in.
Yeah.
That is just the thing. Because once you actually get permanent residency, if you don't even like your occupation, you can always switch occupation and work in any other sector you want. That is just it. You might, you have the flexibility, because that is why a permanent residency visa is called a permanent residency. It gives you flexibility to do so many things. You can take up a new diploma, you can take up a new degree, anything you want to take up. Anything you want to do with your life, you can travel at ease without having the constraints of your passport. And after your permanent residency, you get your citizenship, and that gives you the flexibility. That is New Zealand has the sixth most powerful passport in the world, and you can have it virtually to more than 140 something destinations. So these are things that you would actually enjoy these are the dividends of true and good migration. You understand? That is just it.
Okay, thank you so much. I think let me just take this last question. The person is asking, said, please, if I get the guide, will I still pay for consultation?
No. Like I said, the guide comes with one free one-on-one consultation, and then the consultation never stops for the next 6 months. That is just it. You're not paying for any consultation again. The guide is there to help you, and then whenever you have the need to ask any question, throw out the question, contact me at any time. You would also have access to my personal contact, and we'll continue discussing whatever ambiguity problem you might have, or any stumbling block you might fall upon. You can just easily have the answers to those questions. That is just it.
Okay, Regina, are you cleared now? Regina, you can just just let me know that you're okay now. Because you have been with us from the beginning of this section. So I just want to confirm that you are fine, that you're okay now, before we go to the next level. Like I told us before, I'll be leaving the link to that, to where you can get this guide on the description box of this video. So you can as well go there. Okay, thank you, Regina. Thank you so much. Okay, thank you so much. Nice having you around, and we hope to have more conversations like this. Maybe, I don't know, I can invite you one of these days so that you can still come and talk to us, about all this. But then, thank you so much. I sincerely appreciate you. And those of you that have been watching with us, thank you so much. Try as much as possible to share this video, like this video. If you earn anything at all, if you earn any values from this video, please like this video, share this video, and if you're coming across my channel for the first time, do not leave without subscribing. Thank you again for watching, and I remain blessing, a Mozozo of Blessed Blessing channel. Thank you. Bye.